In this video, I would like to give you some basic idea, a basic knowledge about R. Okay. So I also put R script called C2 Basic in the course website. So you can click the link and you will find the code here. So code I put in R code, and you can download all the class R script. That the R script is like the do file in Stata that can help you to replicate all the things I will discuss. Okay. So here we just focus on C2 basic. Okay. So R can do a lot of things. You can just treat them as a calculator, very complicated calculators. And it's also very good at the statistical computing, can do similar things as Stata can do. And compared to Stata, it can kind of like more close to the programming language. So you can use R to do more things, like to automatically get the information from the website, or do more things to handle the GIS data. That's something Stata that cannot really do that. So that means, but it also means the R is more advanced. It's a bit harder to learn. And R can also create a very good figures, very nice figure, and even the figure can become dynamic figures. So first, I would like to let you know is R as a calculator. So very simple. You can calculate something. And so you can open your R Studio and open the R script, C2 Basic, and I put everything here. So you can type your command in the result window, this window, and that will give you the results. But I encourage you write down all the things in the R script. So here, and implement things. If you want, you can just press run or Control plus enter. So do either things can help, and your result will show here. Or you just highlight and Control enter. That will do similar things. Or just press run. So highlight and run. Okay. So maybe you want to know the 2 power 3s. You know it's 8. And you can also type here. Type here is also okay. Or highlight, press Control enter. That will give you the same things. So let me just introduce some math operator. The very typical one, plus, minus, times, this just divides, are all available. And there are several math functions, very conventional one that can use. Okay. And log is the function. So this is a function and can help you do very complicated. So function with a function with another function, and can calculate things. The result is 1. Okay. So you have a lot of function you can use. Okay. So you can just treat them as a calculator. So next thing is I would like to let you know the principle of the R when you do R, the programming. The one fundamental principle is everything is an object. So later you will know if you generate a number, it will be object. If you generate the vector or matrix, they are also object. Even the function is an object, or data set is the object. So that's very different. In Stata, data set is a file. You will save it as a file. But in R, it will treat very similarly as we treat as a number or vector. A whole data set is the object, and that's very typical spatial object called data frame. But we will discuss this later when we discuss. That's very important object. Okay. So keep in mind the fundamental principle in R is everything is the object, is an object. Okay. So here, the first things I would like to let you know is how to create an object. So object can be easily created by assign the value 2 to the x. So the assign operator in R is this. So you just type this. So it's very similar to the equal, but still not very different. But usually in R, we use this to assign. So to assign to the x. So now x is the object you already create. And if you type x, it will just show up what's this object contain. This contain just 2, this number. So you can do that by yourself. Now we create an object and we can run or press Control Enter. And you can see we already created an object called X. And what's the content of this object is 2. So X now is represent 2. So if you run this line, you will see 2. It will show that it's 2. Okay. And this assign operator is similar to the equal. So you can use equal as this. But people usually, in R user usually use this. And it's preferred for programming. So if you do that, Y, you can also create a new object called Y. And Y just contain one number called 3. So you can see this. If you implement Control Enter, it will create a new object here. It's Y, and what's the content of Y is 3. And you can also show that it's 3. Okay? So that's very simple. You can create objects. But usually we use this to assign the number or the vector or the matrix or the data to create a new object. And you can also assign the functions, log function that help you to calculate like this and create a new object called A. And remember the argument in a function using the equal rather than this. We don't use that in the function. So in the function, you can just use equal. But when you assign or create an object, you can use this. That's just the rule. So then you can create a vector. We can use this C function. This is a function. Can help you. This function is basically stands for combine or concatenate. Basically combine a lot the number. Combine this 5 number, and you create the vector called Z. Okay, and here I would like to let you emphasize is R is case sensitive. That means if you put small or capital 1, they know they are different. So not the Z, small z is not equal to big Z. Okay, so it's case sensitive. So just Z is fine. Z, only the small z represent this. Okay. So here you can see in this. So then we will create a new object called Z. And Z, what kind of thing contains Z is here. Is 1.8, 3.4, 4, 88, 13. Okay, so this only this 5 number. And you can show that it's this. If you type Z, it will show up here. It's Z. Okay. But if you type big Z, implement big Z, they will say object big Z not found. That means that is because you just generate the small z rather than big Z. Okay. Okay, then you can also generate a vector using some function, for example, this sequence, and it came from 2 to 20 by 2, for example. So this is just function, put some argument. You need to know where it start and where is the end, and by what kind of interval you will have one more. So they will generate 2, 4, 6, 8 until 20. Okay. And that's one way you can generate some sequence. Or you just say 198 to 2005, that will generate 1981 to 2005. And that will generate a new object called train, or a new object called edge. Okay, so you can generate, and let's also generate train. So you can play with this. And you can use the combine. C is a function help you to combine the object. To combine the object we just create. The Z, H, and X is the object we already construct. And we can use C function to combine and then assign to U as a new function. Create a new function, a new object called U. So you can see, you can do that. If you implement, the U is combine a lot of things. Combine the Z and H and X too. So you can check. You really combine these a lot of things. And then another thing I would like to let you know is you can do some operation. 2 times x plus 3, create a new object called x1. And this means 1 to 5. So 1 times x plus 5. 2 plus x plus 2. 3 plus x 3 plus 3. 5 times x plus 1. Something like this. That will create a new object called x2. So you can play with this. Try to understand what does this mean. So x1 is 7. Okay. Because x is 2 times 2, 4 plus 3 is 7. And this is a vector. So vector will create a vector. Okay. So this is 1 times 2 plus 5. So the first one is 7. Second one is 2 plus 2 plus 4. So it's 8. Okay. So that's very similar. So x, log x, you can create a new object called log x. So you create a lot of objects you can see here. That's the object you already create by yourself. Okay. And you can also using this operator that can help you to extract by the element by the index. So within this, 1, 2, 3 is represent the index, like first element, second element, third element in the specific vector or specific matrix. So for example, the Z, you just create where is the Z? Z is here. The first element is 1.8, second element is 3.14, and then so on. So you can see, so this means the index. Within that, the number here within this operator is mean index. So this means you want to extract the first element and fourth element from the Z object and assign or create a new object called Z1. So you will expect what kind of thing you will get is you want to assign the first element and the fourth element. So 1.8, 8.88, something like this. So you will create a new two thing. So you can show I can show you. So what the Z1 is 1.8, 88.2. So that's the first element in the Z. And the fourth element in the Z. Because you want to get the first element and fourth element. But you usually combine, help you to combine these things. You want to extra these two elements at the same time. You can use this C combine these two index. Another thing is you can use negative index that can help you to exclude the elements. So if you put the minus from this combine function, that means you want to exclude the two second element, third element, and fifth element. So that means you just left first element and fourth element and create a new object called Z2. So you will expect they do similar things, the same thing, but just use different way. Just use different way. Okay? So you can see. So minus put in front, it means the exclude. And then there are some basic matrix algebra I would like to let you know. So vector is just the one line number, a set of number. And the matrix just with additional dimension, And so it has row and column type indexing. So the first, so remember this means within that means just index. So first element means the row. Second element means the column. So extract the ith row and jth column. Okay, ith row and jth column. So you can see the A is a matrix we construct. So for example, we just use this operator to construct the A. Okay, so A is the matrix that has 2 rows, 3 columns. Okay, so you can use this matrix function, and you want to construct a series 1 to 6. And this matrix you require them have two rows, so they will generate for you. The requirement is 2 rows. Our requirement is 3 columns. It also will do very similar thing. Okay, very similar thing. And you can do that by extra them. This means you want to extra the first and second rows. Okay, first and second row, and this means first column, third column. So that means you want to extra the first 2 rows and the first column, third column. So 1, 2, 5, 6. That's the thing you want to include. Oh, that's equivalent to use minus. Minus means you just include everything in the row. If you don't type anything, that means every row you want to extra. And minus means you just want to exclude the second column. And they will do the same thing, give you the same answer. Okay. And this is I have already discussed. It's just generate a new matrix. And you can also list how many objects you already have by doing this, by implement this. And it will show all the metric, the object you have. Okay. And also display the length of the object. So I want to display the Z object. There's 5 numbers, so length is 5. Okay. Or you can remove the object. So use this remove function and put the object's name. They will remove this object. So we now have X and we want to remove maybe. And if you list your object again, you will find there's no X because you already remove it using that remove function. Okay, so that's for the basic knowledge for R.